What's up, witches? It's Luna back again to give you the wrap up and the resolution of where I left you. I left you on the 23rd, on Moondark Day, with a task to do. So I want to tell you how the rest of this unfolded. If you haven't seen that video, go back. It's the one just before this one. And first of all, I want to say thank you to every single one of you that left a comment, that offered prayers, whether you left a comment or not, sent me good energy. It makes such a difference. Reading all your comments and replying to each one of them just really helped. It helped my heart. It helped me, move more of the grief through. Just an amazing thing. And I think I was probably talking in that video about complex grief when there's trauma involved. And so here's the rest of the story. Now, lots of little magical things along the way. The readings have been absolutely stunning, just stunning. So on the day that I uploaded that video, I made my black salt. And of course, this was just after Ozzy died. And as I was working and getting things together, I was listening to Ozzy's solo stuff. And I had everything together and, mixing, and I was getting ready to do like the charging of the salt. And I will tell you that when I made this salt, I charged it all up, all kinds of stuff. And then I put some of that in my own container. And then from the rest, which is the stuff that I'm going to sell, it's like I neutralize everything except the inherent power that is in that black salt, so that whoever purchases it can take, can do what they want and, put their intention in. One of the first things was I had grabbed the Dark Goddess deck and came out with the card of Lorelei, and I never knew the story of Lorelei. It's a German-based story, and it is the story of a woman who was incredibly attractive and attracted men to her not by her intention. She did not seek to seduce or attract them in any way. They were attracted to her, and then when they got what they wanted, they attacked. And she took all the shame and the blame. So keep that in mind. I'm looking through my journal here so I don't forget things. This was after, my trip to the ER and worried about my heart and, having those episodes of incredibly high blood pressure and my heart pounding away. The phrase that goes with her card in the book is, "The deeper you go, the harder your heart will beat." So to get that message when I was having episodes of my heart pounding so hard was a validation and allowed me to be a little bit calmer about it, because, okay, I know I'm going deep. So Azrael and Melchizedek continued to show up. Azrael has been my constant companion. He has just shown up everywhere, and he's the one that is there when souls are passing and grief is ongoing. So I did the work. Okay, so the night that I'm doing the working, right as I began the working, so I'd been listening to Ozzy when I was collecting things together, and then when I was getting ready to start the working, it's like, I need Black Sabbath. So I pulled them up, I clicked on Children of the Grave, and I heard the chords, dun, 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 and my phone says, "Prepare the black magic." Now, I have an alarm set on my phone that reminds me to set my coffee up at night. It used to be on a timer. It's not anymore, but it's set up at night, so I can just go in and flip the switch and turn it on in the morning, and coffee is easy, right? So that's my alarm that goes off at 10:30 that tells me to set up my coffee pot. It says prepare the black magic, but it came at such a time that I laughed my ass off. And there was another time when I still had a flip phone. This was like 10 plus years ago. And my sister-in-law was here from Colorado, and we did some things, and we were going to take some things down to the river to release them. It was dark, it was full moon, and I had my phone in my pocket. Now, mind you, I'd never heard this phone make any verbal anything ever. And as we stepped down to the side of the river, there's a little spit of gravel that goes out, so you're kind of surrounded by the water. As we went out, my phone from my pocket says, "State your command." So, yes, you can use your electronics for magic. It's amazing. So, anyhow, I do the black salt. And then I'm getting, again, Azrael coming up and messages of you're uncovering and integrating multiple past life and karmic timelines. Let go of anger and unforgiveness. I can help free you from emotional pain. That was Uriel. Union of holy masculine and feminine on the new moon. And on the day that my ex was cremated, Michael, which was his name. So Saturday, new moon was that Friday? I don't remember. Anyway, on Saturday, I had an amazing night's sleep, and there was my cards in the morning. I woke up thinking about Sariel, and of course, I drew him from the deck, and he is about the dark night of the soul. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's, I've come through that and all, validation and everything. Then I had to, you may have seen the link, I've since taken it down because I reached my goal, but I had to set up a GoFundMe to have dental work done. Big drama and fear around dental work. Anyway, I have to have a couple root canals, and I had it scheduled for the 31st, and they called me and said I had to pay over $400 because they insist on a couple things to help the dentist see what's going on that almost no insurance covers. And I'm like, okay, I don't have a choice about this. And I did have a couple sources I could go to, but I'm like, you know what? This is something I need to do because asking for money is such a shame-filled thing for a lot of people, but way for me. So I set up a GoFundMe and I asked for $400. I have to pay $414. And I shared it. And it's like I felt very calm about that. This is just the thing I have to do. I did that on Friday at the new moon. And then on Saturday, the donations started rolling in, and I had people that didn't want to go through GoFundMe, so they just sent, money to me in PayPal. And when I got to the point where I'd reached my goal, within a couple of days on GoFundMe, and I went in and they upped my goal. So this is what GoFundMe does. You say, here's my goal. When you reach that goal, they up it so they can keep making money, and it's wonderful when people have these huge things, house renovations, and, we had a disaster and all that kind of stuff. More money is great. But for me, I knew specifically how much I needed, and I already had enough and more than enough. So I took the links down and I stopped the campaign. And then on the 31st, back. So that Saturday night, which was the 26th, I had put the campaign up, and my ex's partner, the woman that he lived with, had no contact with her for 30 years. And we weren't friends. She was the other woman, so that night we had my sister-in-law over for dinner, and we had a wonderful, and I had a panic attack that night while we were waiting for dinner. And it's like, you know what? I don't need to give this all of my attention. So I went up and I took some Xanax, and I took some ashwagandha, and I took some hydrocortisone, and everything was, calming down. It's like, we'll get it back together. This is what my body's been doing. Then I come up uh, about 10:30 that night, and I sit down. And the day before, this woman had sent me uh, a message on Messenger. I don't know how because we weren't friends on Facebook, but she sent me a message saying that she was planning a memorial on a particular date and time. And I'm like, she's thank you. And it's like, no, don't. Just let it lie, was the answer that I got. And so then the next night I come up at 10:30 and she has sent me a Facebook link to a post she made, defamatory as fuck. Called me everything but free, white, and 21. And fake priestess, fake fucking priestess is what she used to say. Now, mind you, this woman never came to a circle of mine, does not know me, and just, you could tell she was drunk, just everything, and, come find me, trying to, and I realized, oh, the link for the memorial was bait, and I didn't take it. And we all know, I hope we all know, that the thing a narcissist can stand the very least is to be ignored. She was looking for narcissistic supply there. Didn't realize she was a narcissist, but And she twice in this post, she said she is not real. And I thought, you're right. I am a figment of your imagination because you don't know me, and telling people, do not go fund her. What kind of priestess asks for money for her medical things and her pain? A human one, maybe? It was insane, literally insane. And then she commented on her own thing, come find me, let's do this. And I'm like, what the hell? So my system was in chaos, and I called my daughter to say, what the fuck, check this out. I screenshotted things, and then I blocked her. And it was just like, then I called my sister-in-law because you gotta talk it out. And within like an hour and a half, I would say my system was calming back down again. And I was having the realization of, oh, I actually have learned that lesson. I did not take the bait either time. And, believe me, my fingers were, and it's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Because with a narcissist, any engagement is an invitation for more. And, I had already said I see no earthly value in me going to a memorial service. It would not benefit anyone. So I already was, not in for anything. But it was just like, wow, incredible. Now, I will tell you also that I had already decided that night when I had to take extra hydrocortisone. It's like, every time I have a panic attack, I have to take more of this. So why not get on the front end of it? And instead of taking 10 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon, I'll do 15 in the morning and 10 in the afternoon. So, and start taking it early, like 6:30, put an alarm and take it early because I was waking up in a panic attack. So, I did that. The following morning, I'm talking to my sister, and I decided to go on my chart and check results of blood work that I'd had done. And my wonderful, wonderful physician had messaged me from his vacation at 7:30 in the morning because he looked for the test results and said, you know what, your cortisol, it flatlined. It's supposed to be up here in the morning and do this, and it was flat. And he said, how about upping your hydrocortisone to 15 in the morning and 10 in the afternoon, and then we can wean you back later. And it was just like that, again, that validation that you're connected, you're connected, you're connected. Even when this upheaval hits. So the night that hit, I finished by writing her name down, and some wonderful things that I've learned from Witch Talk, from you young witches that I never even considered. When you're doing something like that and it's something you want to go away, you fold it away from you. If you're writing down something you want it to bring it in, you fold it towards you. So I wrote her name down, I folded it away from me, and I put it in my personal jar of black salt. neutralize and block negativity, right? And, you know, I came the closest to reporting her profile, but I thought no, because I don't want to reach in that direction in any way. I do not want to extend in that direction. I just need to set up the wall and the block. So that's what I did. And then I wrote her name again, folded it away from me, put it in a little container of water, and put her in the freezer. So I put her on ice and neutralized the energy. The post came down within about an hour. I also messaged my dear friend Patrick, who was also an ex-boyfriend, and he is the person I met Michael through. And he understood. He tried to warn me, and I didn't listen. Anyhow, I had also messaged him and said, what is wrong with her? She's going to catch a defamation case. And that was when my energy was, and I thought, you know, maybe he could reach out and block or, you know, tell her. She had tagged Mike's sister and like 8 other people that I've never heard of in my life. Anyway, I think it was his sister or somebody saw it and said, you might not want to do that. That's defamatory and actionable. So, I mean, I won't even go back into what she accused me of. Yeah, but it was just grievance. It was all personal grievance and saying that I played her. And it's like, how? We didn't have any interactions. How did I play you when I just, you know, so certainly delusional, which is par for the course. But just pain and grievance and jealousy and a complete lack of understanding of me. So, you know, very clearly not about me, but about whatever image. And then I started realizing that it was also narcissistic poisoning. So when a narcissist leaves a relationship, and goes on to the next relationship, they will do everything they can to poison whatever image there is of the ex. And, you know, it's the classic, she was sleeping with every member of the fill in the blank team, you know? And so I got a little window into maybe what was being said about me doesn't matter. But still, yikes. So we go on, and I have, you know, my GoFundMe works. I rescheduled my dentist appointment from the day before my birthday when a retrograde Mercury was going to be sitting slap on top of my Sun Uranus conjunction, which is the seat of my crazy nervous system. Yeah. And also when I was younger and I would have the vasovagal syncope attacks, the pass out attacks, and when I started tracking, it was always on a Mercury retro. And it's like, this is sitting right on top of your Sun's sister woman and the ruler of your 4th house. Don't do it. So I called them and said, I'm raising the money and I need to kick the appointment down the road a bit. So it's scheduled for the 13th, from the 31st to the 13th after Mercury turns. Very grateful for that. And then it's like, and now we carry on into our birthday weekend. Mine's the 1st, my daughter's is the 2nd. Yes, born on a pagan holiday. It ain't bad. So after I go through the week, and on Thursday, which was the 31st, my daughter had come up on Tuesday, so we were hanging out and doing stuff, and we had decided we were going to get our hair cut. It was a gift from her, and so we went to this amazing place in downtown Kent. Used to be the old lady hair salon, and they have upped their game and moved right in the middle of downtown. $30 for this haircut, you guys. $30. I mean, it was 50, but she washed. You can get a cut for 30 without washing. Amazing. The conversation, of course, it was with the double Aries, and we talked about astrology and tarot the whole time. I mentioned I was a reader. She's like, oh my God, I'm having a reading party in my house this week. So it was, you know, again, my daughter's getting her hair cut across the room, where I see the woman having to pull her hair 4 feet away from her to cut the ends because it's down to her ass. And the whole place heard us cackling, me and Emily cackling through my whole haircut. It was amazing. So we go home. I put some makeup on. We're going to go out and do a little bit of shopping. And still, I will tell you, my system still recovering. We'd gone out the day before. It was hot. Got in the store, getting lightheaded. I can't do this. We got to go home. All this stuff. So I am still in recovery. So, put some makeup on, took a picture of my haircut, and said, I just had the ideal haircut at, blasted Evelyn Dickerson, not blasted, but, put them out there and praised them up and down, and Emily in particular, and just, what a wonderful experience it was. And then later, I'm looking at, and I had put out a thank you and taken down all the links and said I got what I needed and then some. Thank you so very much. And then there was a comment from his sister that said, "Wow, you really did get extra, dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign, huh?" No question mark, just huh. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm sitting and it's like, oh, I'm poor enough that I have to ask for $400. Our budget won't sustain that, but I can go out and get a haircut. Now, she lives in California, where I'm sure haircuts that she gets, because she gets color and all this stuff, are quite expensive. But it's just that attitude of, if you're poor, you're not allowed to get your hair cut or have a good phone, or, again, fill in the blank. That attitude. And in a flash, I got her and the other woman, just that they've been quacking. And which, you're welcome, you two, because they were on the outs before this. So it's like, in toxic families, if you have a common enemy, all is forgiven. But it took me to that place of, oh my God, I need to unfriend her. And I mean, we're Facebook friends. We don't talk. If there was something we needed to know, she'd text, like she texted when he died. So, if we were good friends, she'd have called when he died. But we're not. We don't have a personal relationship. But it was so hard to unfriend her. And I really had to sit and go, what is this? And then Freya North in Norway showed up on my For You, on my personal YouTube. And I have uploaded this video, or tagged this video in a community post. I will put it in the description as well. And the name of the video is, I think it's You're Not Healing. Let me look it up. Hold on. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. It is called You're Not Healing. You're Shedding the Life That Was Killing You. And this woman channels the truth from beginning to end about how healing doesn't start with the healing part and peace. It starts with decay and rot and the old. And I mean, please go and watch it. Whew, broke me down. I had to call my daughter in and say, let's watch this. And we watched it together. It is as succinct a description of the initiatory process as I have ever seen. It was freaking amazing. And the validation was absolutely phenomenal. So after getting through all that, the readings, of course, have been just amazing. Today is the first day where I woke up and the conversations were not still going in my head. So for several days after that. Oh, and I will say on the 2nd in the morning, on my daughter's birthday, I took her out with tongs, took her out of the salt, and we burned that to ash. And then I took her out of the freezer and we drove to the river. And as we were driving, my daughter let the ash go into the wind and to, land on the earth. And then I took her to the river and threw her in, and we watched her bob away. Bye, I release you to your karma. But still, 3 days after that, I'm constantly in conversations with them, and I started paying attention to the conversation, and it's me trying to be seen and to validate myself. You don't know me, you don't know me. It's like, no, and they never will. But it took 3 days for that to process out, and today I finally felt them leave. And, off you go. I bless you with enlightenment. So I will say Froude's fairies during this time too, all singers. If you have the deck, So it's been just an unbelievable process. And then I have to show you what my amazing friend Darcy did for me on the Monday after I got curse slammed. She brought me a couple of deer skulls with antlers, and she brought me this. Belonged to a hereditary Welsh witch, passed down for 3 generations. Came to Darcy through a friend. Neither of the woman's children wanted it. They're like, nope, nope, nope. And she said, it's yours. And I mean to tell you, I am so blessed. And my darling Darcy has been with me from the beginning of the end. She was there at the time the marriage started breaking, and she watched it all. She's watched it all of these years. And to be gifted with this, so it comes with a little wooden cradle thing, which is, it just doesn't hold it. It's too open and loose and it doesn't hold it. But then my sister-in-law said, oh, hey, look at this. It cradles quite nicely in this glorious rack of antlers. So, these times are not without gifts. And now I'm trying to remember if there was any last thing that I wanted to tell you. This morning's read, and I've been doing Froude's Fairies and my Water Alchemy Oracle and the Archangel Fire Oracle. I've been doing jumpers, like no pulls, just jumpers. This morning, She of the Krua came out. I woke up so very calm. I mean, this feeling of calm system is just glorious. And I know a lot of you feel like that, like on a regular basis, but to me, it's really new and amazing. And so She of the Krua came out, and it was like first shuffle, bang, there she is. It's the goddess showing up to go, come here, honey, you made it through, And then from the water, Foam, which talks about there was a visualization to merge with the inner beloved and knowing you are loved, whole, and complete in yourself. And I wrote down, this is what's left when abandonment leaves. So one of the things Freya says that really brought tears, and it's just kind of part of a sentence, but she says, when you let go of the need to be liked. And it's like, okay, what happens when you're not liked? Shame. The need to be liked is a shield against shame. And I said, this is what's left when abandonment leaves. And you look at how, abandonment has been a theme in my life. It's the Pisces moon, the Neptune in the 12th house, all of that, the Pluto, Mercury opposing my soft Pisces moon. And so what also is the antidote to abandonment is merging with that internal beloved, merging with Goddess. And I remember so well the night when I did my grieving for my own mother, long before she died. But it was the realization of my own abandonment being set up when I was left to cry as a baby on doctor's advice. Because I was born as an induced labor, and they use Pitocin, and it suppresses the breathing reflex. And so I didn't breathe for several minutes when I was born, and they knocked her out and put me in an isolate, and I was isolated. And then the doctor said, let her cry. So she did. And it also set up an eating disorder. So anyway, when I realized that and connected and could actually grieve, it resolved my lifelong sense of homesickness. And suddenly there was the Goddess to me, and I never felt that kind of loneliness again. But there was different kind of abandonment, and abandonment where I thoroughly would abandon myself, in these relationships and things. So what's left when abandonment leaves is wholeness and completeness, And then out of the fire oracle came Jeremiel, mercy. Facing truths about where we are holding on to behaviors, people, and situations. Helps us let go of the old, outdated, and outgrown aspects of ourselves and our lives with gentle compassion. So, they have just been amazing. Let me see here. I wrote, the need to be liked is based in shame. It will no longer destroy my body and my peace. And here's from Jeremiel again, try not to make any decisions from a place of rashness or pain. Instead, feel into every individual circumstance, offering forgiveness for the hardship and gratitude for the learning. Remember to have mercy for yourself too. Go forward from this experience with dignity and grace. So that's the closing of not a chapter, but a book. The closing of a book. And I am just very grateful to myself and all the work that I've done, that I was able to not take the bait one last time. It's like he had to reach out one last time and smack me. But it wasn't him. He knows better now. It was the one that he poisoned. So I told him, y'all need to go take care of your thing there. Do you see what you did to her? She's in a lot of pain because of what you did. So go take care of it. It's not mine. None of this is mine. And I did spend time going, okay, what was mine? And looking at my behaviors and actions and seeing, okay, they could have been interpreted this way. Would I have done it differently? I couldn't have done it differently, because when you're in a situation of narcissistic abuse, they don't change. They don't change. And I had a very painful realization of that when he played me one last time. I thought was one last time. And I realized, I thought I was manipulating him, and I wasn't. And the realization sent me screaming in the car all the way home and made me realize, okay, I get the 12-step program here of realizing you have no power, which I always had an issue with. But it's like, oh, I don't have any power here. Anytime I step into the ring, I'm going to lose. So the power lies in never stepping into the ring, making that choice. Here's my choice. I will not engage. I will never engage again. And I passed the test. I will diminish and go into the West and remain Galadriel. Okay. A little gifty there for all my Lord of the Rings nerds. So anyway, I am recovering well at this point. And every day I move more into recovery and into true healing. Please go watch Freya, North in Norway. You're not healing, you're shedding the life that was killing you. I will put the link down below. You're welcome. I know we've all been through this kind of harsh dark night of the soul. That's what it was. When Sariel came up, he was letting me know, here comes the big hit, you know? So I end in tremendous gratitude. Oh my God, 35 minutes, you guys. Holy fuck. I hope you got something from this. I know you're going to give me wonderful messages. And I'm still sort of awaiting what other kind of videos I'm going to do, readings and stuff. And it will arrive when it arrives. And I thank you for your patience. And I thank you so much for those of my patrons that are still hanging in there with me. That little bit, it's like $20 a month I get, you know, but when it arrives with such a feeling of love and appreciation. So I appreciate you, and I will still appreciate you if you have to reclaim that money. I will, and I do. I wish you abundance, and I send you many, many good blessings. Until I see you next time, this is Luna. Blessed be.